Welcome back, and let's jump right into creating our ToDo app, starting with the UI design. Every time you open a new app or screen, you'll be met with this layout. What we want is to keep the view and body and get rid of everything else. I personally like to draw out my UI design. Starting with the home screen, we begin at the top. With a fitted row and 2 children elements, 1 text and 1 button. This whole next section is a conditional column within the body of the view. The first option of the conditional element contains 3 children, an image, a text, and a button. Following the button, it takes you to the add screen. Let's bring this to life in Studio. Getting rid of everything unnecessary, the first item in our body is a column. This column will hold a fitted row that'll contain 2 children. The first being text for our app's title, which we will give its own styling. A helpful tip is to shift tab on a new line to see what you can apply. You can see it happening in our styling of the text element. A suggested list of possible options is shown. Something else I find helpful is collapsing the side view to align the children's elements. Hierarchy is important for the way things are shown. Messing this up could easily lead to errors. When applying styles to the parent fitted row, it'll inherit to its children as well. In our previous video, I mentioned how you can use the theme section to globally apply styles. Here, we'll set the font and primary color. Next, we'll move on to understand how to format the UI for the add screen. Starting at the top, a fitted row is used with the child elements, icon, and text to help users navigate back to the previous screen. The UI design we're following requires us to submit something called a form, which you can read about more in this documentation. In this form, there are a few children that'll be used to get user data for our list. We are using a text and text input to grab the data for title and due date. Then, using a button to submit the form, and on submission, it'll add it to the items array. To begin, we'll start by creating a brand new screen called Add. We only need to define the view and body. Inside the body, we'll use a column to organize our content. Let's construct the header section. We'll use a row with 2 children elements. First, we need to access the icon library to choose an icon. This is how we access the library, and we have a few to choose from. Then following it with the screen's title. To add functionality, we'll use the onTap event to execute JavaScript code. In this case, we'll use JavaScript version ES5 to add data to ensemble.storage. Next, let's start building the form that we will execute upon submission of the required inputs. The form will contain 2 text inputs, one for the title and another for the due date of the task. You can assign IDs for access and other features such as hint text or make them required values. Remember that these elements will have their unique properties which you can customize later. I'll add the JavaScript logic separately. You can edit this code as needed for your specific requirements. This JavaScript code will handle the form submission and allow you to process the data entered by the user. This is what the final page will look like for the add screen. This includes all of the properties and styles for each element. It also includes the JavaScript code. So now, going back to the home screen, this is what it will look like with populated data, aka the second conditional option. We're reusing the header section from the original homepage, but this will include a second fitted row below the first one because we are creating this from top to bottom, so they are in line with each other, both children of the column. This fitted row shows an icon, text input for search, and a button to sort all items by date. Then we'll create an item template that'll create a layout for each task in the items array. This template will show every item, title, and due date with a checkbox to represent completion and an icon as a way of showing expansion. On tap of the checkbox, it'll move to this section, which is the same layout as the original items array. On click of the ellipsis icon, it'll show two buttons alongside the title and due date. The edit button navigates to the add screen. The delete button gets rid of the item. After understanding the UI, I'll move on to implementing the logic. Making our home screen more dynamic, let's add that second conditional option that begins with a column and has a row as a child element. Within this row, we'll have 3 children, an icon, a text input, and another column. These elements will each have unique styles that I'll define shortly. Inside the column, we'll add another conditional statement in line with the row. This nested conditional will provide more options and functionality based on user interactions. This conditional will check ensemble.storage if there are items in search results. If there are no items, it'll display the items in our custom card widget and custom card completed widget. To create custom cards for your items and completed items, we'll define them in line with the view and structure them within the body. Let's start by constructing the card for the items. Inside the column, we'll create an item template that will display data consistently from ensemble.storage.items. We'll give it a name as an ID for easy access and design the template to meet our requirements. You can apply all styling techniques the same way in this custom widget. This design will represent the checkbox, item name and date, as well as the ellipsis icon. When the checkbox is changed, we'll execute JavaScript code to move the item from one array to another, from items to completed items. I'll include the JavaScript code shortly, which you can use to implement this functionality. The Custom Card Completed widget is fundamentally the same as Custom Card widget, with a slight difference in how the checkbox is represented and how the bottom modal is shown. One of the final things we'll do is construct another custom widget called Search Card. Backtracking to our second conditional, if there are items in the ensemble.storage.search results, it'll display the following layout for our items. It'll be very similar to the custom card widget with a few differences, but using the same concept for the item template. Again, I'll also be adding the styles for each element shortly. Take note on how we display the text using $bracket item.name bracket. And lastly, we'll implement action sheets that appear when a user clicks on the ellipsis icon next to an item. Depending on whether it's an item in the items array or items comp array, we'll show 2 different action sheets. The first action sheet will display the item's name and date along with 2 important features, edit and delete. The edit button will have JavaScript functionality to navigate to the add screen for editing, and the delete button will have JavaScript functionality to remove the item from the list. The action sheet comp widget is the same concept, just without the edit button. Another thing to note is this global section. Here, I'm creating a function to sort all items by date, and I can access this anywhere in my YAML code, which I have done, making this button functional. Thank you for joining us on this journey through app development. We hope you found these tutorials helpful in creating your own apps. If you have more questions or need further assistance, we invite you to join our Discord community, where you can connect with fellow developers and get additional support. Don't forget to scan the QR code to download the Ensemble app and try out the ToDo app for yourself. Feel free to explore, experiment, and even create your own unique versions of the app. The possibilities are endless, and we can't wait to see what you'll create. Stay inspired, keep coding, and let your creativity shine. See you on Discord, and happy app development.